Any process of restoration always starts with a thorough examination of the piece. Microscopic examination is one of the most common and effective methods of examination. This method was used to examine the ancient shroud from the Pushkin State Museum of Fine Arts collection. Its results were required to find the best method of conservation for the piece. Microscopic examination of the Egyptian shroud was done by the museum's restorers along with the experts of Microsystems Ltd. The research team was entrusted with several important tasks. First, they needed to study the technological manufacturing methods used for the shroud. Then, they had to do a stratigraphic study, that is, to examine the paint layers and to identify the state they were in. The textile base of the piece was carefully studied as well. Determining the state of damage to the paint layers and the fibers was a very important part of the work. Finally, 3D models of the most informative parts of the shroud were obtained. The latest generation of digital microscopes was used to do the examination. The main difference between these microscopes and traditional ones is that the obtained images are displayed directly on a computer screen. Such microscopes have a number of advantages.
Во-первых, что это? Это моментальная фокусировка, автофокус.
These include instant focus, autofocus, high-speed camera, and new image processing algorithms that allow us to see much more detail. Due to the considerable size of the shroud, the examination was conducted using a floor stand. The surface of the piece was divided in 6 by 6 squares with a 0.1 mm thick polyamide thread placed over it. It was photographed part by part, then the shots were automatically put together to make one whole image of the shroud. Thanks to this technique, it was possible to get images magnified up to 20 times.
И информация, которая получается в результате, позволяет иметь крупномасштабные.
As a result, we have access to high-resolution, large-scale images. As you may guess, this is very important for the restoration and conservation process. There were two main methods used in examining the shroud. The first one is unpolarized reflected light microscopy, i.e., getting magnifying images in natural light. This method was used to obtain images of individual details of the shroud. The second method is transmitted polarized light microscopy. This is one of the most informative methods used in pre-restoration studies. This method included studying specially prepared samples of fibers and paint taken from separate parts of the piece.
Благодаря этому методу мы можем определить, во-первых, искусственное это волокно или это натуральное волокно.
Thanks to this method, we can identify whether the fiber is man-made or natural, find out what the original fabric was, what it was made of, as well as some other important features. The 3D models of individual parts of the shroud have helped the researchers evaluate its state.
Во-первых, для того, чтобы оценить степень сохранности самого волокна, это раз. Во-вторых, оценить.
First of all, it helped us identify the degree of preservation of the fiber itself. Secondly, it's done to figure out the way the shroud was attached to its base. And lastly, this research was needed to identify the material of the fabric and how well it holds.
Фиксации данного волокна.
Microscopic examinations have helped researchers get the full picture of the state the Egyptian shroud is in right now. Their results have allowed them to discover the technology used by the ancient masters to create the shroud. This information has assisted scientists in finding the most appropriate restoration method for this unique piece. You will be able to learn more about it in the next episodes of the series.